On Shiloh's dark and bloody ground, the dead and wounded lay. Amongst them was a drummer boy who beat the drum and
Before the Civil War, the United States was under great tension. The South was on the brink of leaving the Union due to opposite views. The views on slavery were completely different. The North did not approve of slavery, while the South kept it. Due to these views, many states in the South seceded from the Union, and that was exactly what they did. The year was 1861 of February 4th, and seven southernmost states, South Carolina, Mississippi, Florida, Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana, and Texas all left the Union to form the Confederate States of America. The Civil War wasn't based upon the ending of slavery or not. It was to bring back and reunite the United States into one whole country again. Slavery wasn't the main focus of the war, but soon it would. Robert E. Lee was a Southern general who was different from the rest. He fought for the South, but not for slavery. Instead, he fought for his home state of Virginia. The people had conflicting ideas when he appeared as a topic of discussion. We hereby state that the South was able to avoid defeat for as long as it did because of Robert E. Lee's brilliant military leadership.
Robert E. Lee. Where should I start? Well, for one, he was an amazing man, and he was one of the best leaders of the South. He inspired a shared vision among the people and the other leaders, and it made the people feel like what they were doing is right, which is good because you know you never want to fight for something that you don't agree with. Getting people to agree with one's opinion is a skill that is needed to be a good general. Another reason why he's a fantastic old man is because he actually earned respect from others, especially his army, which is very important. It is hard not to force respect out of someone, but he didn't have to in the first place. Like, everybody called him Uncle Robert because he faced the hardships of the soldiers along with them. That's kind of hard to do as a general because you feel like you are at a higher place than other soldiers, but for Robert E. Lee, I guess it was as easy as eating a cake.
A new military strategy was used in 1862 after Robert E. Lee became the commander of the Northern Virginia Army. This tactic was an offensive-defensive containing several components.
Robert E. Lee would command Confederate generals to try to occupy strategically advantageous positions that the enemy would be compelled to attack, generally along the Union's lines of supply or communication. He would then see that key defensive points would be defended by concentrations of troops. These troops would be shifted around as needed, taking advantage of the Confederacy's shorter interior lines. Then Confederate armies would go on the offensive whenever an opportunity presented itself. Sometimes these offensives took the form of small raids, sometimes large-scale attacks. Lee developed a political and military mindset towards warfare. He examined newspapers from the North and observed that the North dreaded the idea that the war might last a long time. During war, Lee measured the level of Northern patriotism, observed results of Northern political elections, and even monitored the gold prices in the New York market. One of the examples of Lee's boldness was with his traditional extended flank tactic, but he also cleverly made his line easy to reinforce at any point by building a long, well-sized road running closely behind his lines.
Robert E. Lee was a great military general that was open to new plans of attack on the North and successfully carried them out. With these new tactics, the number of Southern battles won with General Lee rose noticeably. It was a great success to the South.
Te amo, bonjour, Lubata Lee, Monami Carbonara, bonjour, Mosako Nakan Apro, Wibi Hantam, bonjour Mancho, Charamele Lubasamboe Paprika, Pari Baguette, Charamabir, Cherba Bumbunka. Te juro, para gozar, te promie, Matero, Viviento, Lobatele.
Under the command of Robert E. Lee, the South, although defeated, was able to survive in the war against the Union as long as it could. We can see that General Lee was a great leader and caring officer towards the Confederates and his own army. His military tactics and leadership led to the many victories of the South and left a notable history behind him.
Before he died.
저 질문 있는데 혹시 그 로버트 리라는 사람 아십니까?
아 몰라요. 저는
거기 미국 역사에 있는 그 로버트 리 맞습니다.
이씨야 이씨?
네,
이씨는
이씨입니다.
우리 옆집 이씨밖에 몰라요. 아직 몰라요. 가.
저기요.
바빠요.
진짜 리.
그러니까 제너럴 로버트 이 로버트네요.
제너럴 리.
이름이 이 로버트네요. 저
그렇다 칩시다.
옆집에서 김정하는 아저씨인데 어제 그 된장국도 끓여주셔서 저한테 주고 막 그랬어요. 근데
아 네.
로버트 그 사람 이름은 이버트인데 이름이 버트예요. 버트.
아,
로자는 안
그러시구나.
붙는데.
아 그러시구나.